Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Panther Talks. Not Panther Games, because I fucked that up last week. Didn't even
Wait, you
realise.
did?
Yeah, I only realised
Or,
when this one came out.
sorry, Rory, how could you?
I know,
I thought
right?
I told you about that. You should have corrected it.
No, what we pulled each other up on is the fact that last week was episode 9, which means this week we've
The
hit
big
episode
1-0,
10.
dude.
We're in double figures at last.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
last. More like already.
I know, right? It's kind of mental. If you think about it, it's
I'm
been 2.5 months, realistically.
if I'm looking at our channel for it now, we're on the YouTube channel. We're at roughly 3.5, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, just over 10 hours of content already.
Yeah.
For 9 episodes.
Oh, 100%. And the other thing I would like to quickly mention, seeing as we're at episode 10, I'd like to state roughly how our views are going and how everything's going in that regard. Thought you might be interested. So I thought I'd go over this real quick.
Yep.
But in the last 28 days, we have had 169 views on the YouTube channel. Now, if I do that over the last year, and give us a full count, we have had a total since we began this a new adventure of ours, 221 views. On the
Oh,
podcast, we have had 46 downloads, and I
nice.
cannot even begin to calculate the number in regards to Panther Talks on TikTok.
Yeah,
What I can
that's
tell you
absurd.
Yeah, what I can tell you is we have 15 followers, 183 likes, and the Dead Island 2 bits from last week went really well. But we also have something to discuss, don't we, in regards to our TikTok?
That we do, my friend. You were thoroughly amused by it.
It gave me a damn good chuckle. Our community manager was absolutely heartbroken. But basically, last week, on the last episode when we recorded it, which was last Sunday. Today is a Monday, which is a bit different. We've recorded this one a day later because
Yeah,
Mother's Day was yesterday.
we should probably mention that we have committed a heinous crime.
I know,
Unfortunately,
absolutely appalling.
the Sunday was a little tight for the pair of us,
Oh, 100%.
and we just decided to move this recording to the day after.
Yeah.
So everything will still be uploaded as normal, same day of the week at the same time. Just you guys won't know the difference. It's
Yeah,
fine. Don't
exactly.
worry about it.
But in that last week episode, me and Will spent time thanking our community manager for everything they do for us because they've been a massive assistance to us. And I've seen this week's published, by the way, Will. I thought I'd let you know. And it's actually come out just a couple of minutes ago. And it's called A Forced Appreciation from the Lads to Myself.
I was just looking at that, so I was.
But basically, 2 days back, 3 days ago actually, they messaged me. They messaged me to let me know that this week's episode, that day's TikTok had gone out. I went on and couldn't find it. It turns out we had received our first community guideline strike, and it was to do with the video that we responded to on Twitter about atomic hearts and about the term gearhead, which still to this day makes me chuckle. TikTok, for some reason, believed that me and Panda were bullying the person in question. Harassment or bullying. So we appealed it. Less than 12 hours later, we had the video fully published. The issue is that video has been shadow banned. It has only just made it to double figures.
Yeah,
It
I saw that.
it's stuck, and I don't see that video sadly increasing. It was a good video as well. It was a good clip because we discussed it quite in depth, and to be honest, I think we covered all points that was needed to be mentioned in regards to it. It's just kind of a bit sad that that happened, if I'm honest with you. But our community manager was absolutely gutted. They felt absolutely so heartbroken about it and apologised profusely for it. In which I'm pretty sure will have the exact same views as me on this, but
Not their fault.
yeah, not their fault at all. If anything, we're the ones who said what we said, and in my opinion, as I actually pushed to explain, we actually didn't do anything wrong.
No.
We actually just covered the basis and we were giving out constructive criticism, not harassment. There was
Yeah.
nothing really offensive said in that clip, other than possibly calling them a bit easily offended and possibly moronic, but that's more a judgment on character.
Hmm.
And I call a lot of people morons, so we'll
One
move
of his
along.
favorite terms.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, it's that or it's cunt waffle, so you know.
Yeah,
As
that one
my
might get us in trouble.
Oh yeah, but as my American friends always used to say, there's something entertaining about hearing a Brit swear, and that's all I bloody do.
That's all
But
any of us do.
exactly. But anyways, we'll move away from TikTok because fuck me, that was a mess. But no, don't worry about it, community manager. We're all good. Everything's all right, and thank you for your continued work. We'll move on because they'll probably get upset with me for bringing it up again. Oh, so I was just discussing this with you before we actually started,
Yeah.
but
Funnily
we've
enough,
all,
once we actually discussed the topics we wanted to talk about today before we started
well,
actually,
one of them. I have many more up my sleeve.
there was
So
partial mentions of other bits and bobs.
yeah, just a little. So everyone at this point has heard of Elden Ring, whether you love it, whether you hate it, whether it's just not your cup of tea. You've heard of it, and you know of the massive fucking love for it from the different communities out there. It's well known fact at this point.
Yeah, let's put
There,
down a quick disclaimer that neither of us are huge fans of it. We're not. It's not our
yeah,
kind of game. However, that does not mean we're going to take a giant dump all of the game.
no. The Souls games are not our cup of teas. It's just simple as that. That's personal preference. Nothing more really to it. But I do hold respect for a lot of people who are willing to put the time into it, who can actually get as far as they do. And one person that I heard about a lot, even though I don't play the game and don't have much of an interest in it, even I heard of Let Me Solo Her. And I was just telling Will the story about this person before we started. But it turns out, yeah, actually, if we'll go through quickly. If you don't know who they are, they basically attempt to fight the last boss of the game, I believe it is. And basically, they don't have any leveling figure, as it's called. And they're very, very basic as what weapons they have and shit like that. And they attempt to take out the main boss by themselves. And once they defeated her once, they decided, fuck it, let's let's join co-op games and just call ourselves Let Me Solo Her. That way, I can try and fight it by myself. And everyone came across him. Lots of people did. It was insane. And he was beloved by the community. Well, it turns out someone made a mod to bring up, to make this boss that they defeated so often turn into every single enemy in the game. And this Let Me Solo Her is going to attempt it. And apparently, he has actually streamed his first attempt over on YouTube, where he's listed his goals as no leveling figure, getting the jar helm, and which is apparently his signature accessory, and beating the game like it. So all I can say is that is going to be absolutely mental, and if they actually succeed, fair bloody play. That's all I can really say. But leading straight on with that, the Elden Ring team have actually come out with a bit of information themselves, and an article has been produced. Apparently, Elden Ring players have died more than 9 billion times to the game.
And Bill.
Yep. 5.9 billion are boss battles. That means near 3 billion, just over 3 billion attempts are just regular encounters or falling. So,
Falling, trying to get to a place I shouldn't be and just dying to fall damage.
that's true
It's
in every
what
game.
I do. Mm-hmm. Which you seen me in Cyberpunk last night, mate.
Oh, here it is actually. 69% of these deaths are from enemies, 15% of deaths were due to status effects, 14% from falling, and 2% of play
14%.
from falling, yeah. 2% of deaths were caused by other players.
You
And,
understand that means over a billion deaths
yep,
are from fall damage.
I'm not even surprised. But, the boss that let me solo her fights is called Melania, I think it is. Can't pronounce it myself, probably. She actually has the highest kill count among the bosses by 40 million, roughly. So I'll just go through this backwards to the first place. So starting in fifth place, Star Scourge Radahan, 139 million kills. Radagon of the Golden Order, 148 million kills. Limgrave Tree Sentinel, 277 million kills. Margaret the Fell Ermine, 281 million kills. And finally, Melania Blade of Michaela, 329 million kills. Oh wait, no, that's attempts on the boss. So 329 million attempts on Melania, which is just insane.
That boy's been grinding, dude.
Oh yeah. So then you've also got information about co-op versus invasions. Co-op, as we all know, you help people. Invasions, you're basically going in to fight other players. So in comparison, there's 88% co-op calls and 12% invasions. Over 1 billion summons were used for co-op and invasion, which is mental. I don't know much about the spells cast, so it's not really something that's going to affect me, neither is the acquired incantations. But that is basically the major information I thought would be really interesting to share about Elden Ring. What do you think about that, Will?
I think people are crazy.
I can believe it. It's a bit mad to think about that 9 billion people, 9 billion deaths in total. That's just absurd.
Well, they've already broken the human population number,
Mm, exactly.
or at least the recorded human population number.
Oh, yeah. About the best you can get. So, moving on, there is a bit of information that I think will intrigue. Diablo 4!
Ah, yes.
Me bringing it up this time.
Yep.
So, there's an article here called Diablo 4 Release Date, Beta Times, and Everything You Need to Know.
I believe the beta has already been opened.
It has indeed.
However, I'm going to warn you now. I'm avoiding it at all costs. Everything to do with Diablo 4.
Okay, well, what we'll do then, we will stick to main information. So, release date. We'll not discuss the beta times because they'll already be over by the time we fucking get to this. And we can basically just discuss bits about if about the crossplay is possible, and
I no, definitely, it definitely won't be. I don't think.
we'll talk about Game Pass because apparently that's a plausibility. Sound good?
Yeah.
You just tell me if I start mentioning something you don't want to hear about it. You just tell me.
Hearing things about it, provided it's not like
Spoilers.
things that yeah, like spoilers, I'm fine with, but no gameplay will be viewed.
No, we're not going to view any gameplay. We're just going to discuss stuff. So, we'll start with this. Diablo 4's release date is June 6th. So, there is not long at all.
No,
In
2.5 months.
Exactly. I'm sure you're counting it down.
To be honest, don't know if I'll be getting it on Smith.
Oh, really?
Might be waiting a while. We'll see.
So, they have announced that they're going to be releasing simultaneously on PS5, PS4, PC, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One. I'm very surprised that they're still releasing on last gen, but fair
Yeah.
play.
Then again,
Apparently,
it's not a very demanding game.
true. That is very
Or at least
true.
Diablo 3 wasn't anyway.
Yeah. Uh, Blizzard says there are no plans for a Diablo 4 Game Pass release, with the Xbox Activision Blizzard deal still ongoing. It's unlikely that this will change anytime soon. Should the acquisition close this summer, there's a good chance that Diablo 4 would quickly become part of the full Xbox Game Pass list. That is speculation, though. There is no guarantee. So, I said we won't mention it, but we'll mention it briefly. Diablo 4 beta is out now. It started March 17th, which is 3 days ago, and it ends on the 27th of March. And
Well, by
apparently,
by the time this episode gets released, you'll have 1 day left to play it. So keep
yeah,
the grind on.
but apparently, the actual open beta for everyone, which means even me and you could get into it, is the 24th of March, 4 o'clock
Yeah, so
our
you'll
time.
get the last 3 days to play.
Yeah, but we can also
So
preload starting the 22nd. So I might do that, just for fun. That's odd. Um, Apparently there are some rewards that you get from playing the beta as well. Something that might intrigue you.
such
Uh,
as
Title, another title, and a wolf pack cosmetic item. Ooh, hey mate, we've got some minimum specs and recommended specs. Okay, so minimum specs: 8 gig of RAM, a GTX 660 or AMD Radeon R9 280, an Intel i5 2500L or an AMD FX 8100. 8 gig RAM, as I said, SSD with 45 gigabytes of space. Recommended, on the other hand, is a GTX 970 or an AMD Radeon RX 370 with an Intel i5 4670K or an AMD R3 1300X with 16 gigabytes of RAM and once again an SSD with 45 gigabytes of space.
bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all, to be honest.
Diablo 3 wasn't a very demanding game, and obviously Diablo 4 is going to be a bit more, but I wouldn't imagine it to be anything extreme.
Not
Unlike
exactly.
cough cough other games, cough cough.
Yeah,
We'll not mention them. We've spoken them
no.
enough.
Haven't we just? Um, do you know how many classes there are to start with in the game?
I can't remember, to be honest.
Okay, well, there will be 5 classes to start with at launch, which to me I actually thought was quite a small number, but I don't recall the original, so I
I
can't
think
really say.
Diablo 3 is the same because the Necromancer Barbarian were added. And
Okay,
I think there's only seven. I think.
well, would you like to hear what the 5 classes are?
Yeah. Cool.
So you get the barbarian, the druid, the necromancer, the rogue, and the sorceress.
Hmm.
Those are your 5 possible classes. Um, and then
Necromancer and I'm guessing somewhat similar to Diablo 3, so it would be interesting to see how similar. However, I wouldn't really be able to compare them considering all I did was play as a demon hunter.
so I'd
But I'm
imagine
sure there'll
rogue would be
be
very similar to that.
yeah, I'm sure there'll be videos made when the game comes out of comparisons.
Oh yeah, guaranteed. So apparently the game does feature an open world system of sorts. Um, as well as that, it does have a skill tree system. This is interesting, this part, but I don't know the full about it, but I'm guessing it's more console based. Diablo 4 co op and couch co op support. So, co op we already knew that was going to happen, but couch co op is also involved. And crossplay is confirmed. From support from day one means that PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One players can party up and fight together without restrictions.
That's very interesting
Hmm.
because I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, at least from my time, Diablo 3 on console and Diablo 3 on PC, basically two different games.
Yeah, I recall that as well.
Like as far as I know, there wasn't an adventure mode. So
Hmm. It's kind of odd.
from when I played on console anyway.
Yeah.
And I remember there being a very specific item on console that basically just gave you an absolutely absurd attack speed.
All right.
And that was like that was the alternative because of no adventure mode.
Continuing on, Diablo 4 Battle Pass will apparently enhance the endgame. Uh, basically, the Diablo 4 Battle Pass, its seasonal content model, will be familiar to players of Diablo 3, with each season lasting 3 months and coming equipped with its own season pass. A premium. There's a premium version, which is $10 season pass, as well as a free offering. Although Blizzard is yet to detail the difference offered between the two.
Say
Uh,
that is upsetting to hear.
yeah, I can imagine that, to be honest. Diablo 4's microtransactions. Given the response to Diablo 3's notorious auction house and the blowback to Diablo Immortal's pay to win structure, Blizzard is handling the microtransaction side of the game with care. Thankfully, Blizzard has confirmed that the only thing you'll be able to purchase in the game is cosmetic items. Uh, Apparently, the game director, Joe Shelley, says that the decision was made so that players don't feel like they can pay to win, which is right, in my opinion. Best way to be. Obviously, there's going to be PvP. It's just how those games work. Is a method for PvP.
I mean, in Diablo 3, the only PvP that there was the arena in
Yeah,
nutrition, and
I
then
reckon there'll be something similar.
it's in my opinion, it's not a PvP game. It's
No,
entirely PvE.
yeah, unless you want to go into like an arena, and at which point, fucking on your own sort of shit, do your own thing. Um, this is something I want to mention just because I find it mildly amusing. Netflix has got 70 games in development with partner studios and 16 with its in house studios. And around 40 of these games are expected to release later this year. Yeah. And if I am right, especially from the screenshots shown so far, and due to Netflix's past with games, they're basically like browser games. Pixelated as shit or really basic. Just remember, you've got to be able to play it with a remote.
Dear God.
But yes, for some reason they're putting a lot of resources behind this, and I cannot figure out why.
That
I,
is very strange.
yeah, I just wanted to mention it because it just kind of baffles me a little bit. If I'm brutally honest, it's not something I'd have ever thought they'd have been focusing on, considering they're having monetary troubles as is with their actual content as of the moment. Now, I'm gonna talk briefly about a game series that I'm surprisingly actually relatively fond of, and
Go
that's Persona
Oh.
JRPG. And basically, it's like a fully anime style, and it focuses quite a bit on getting to know all the characters and actually building a relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
As well as that, the game does focus on some turn-based combat, but I found that, to be honest, the story was really enjoyable, and I highly enjoyed it. I was playing Persona 4 Golden for a while, and then I stopped. I need to get back into it because I want to play Persona 5 Royal now that it's come out. But considering this Persona 5 Royal, for example, considering that game, it was an exclusive on PS5 for a while, and it eventually came over to PC. And Persona 4 Golden, pretty much from what I know, was like the only one to really release on PC for a long time. Then they brought out Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden again for some reason, and Persona 5 Royal. Persona 5 Strikers was already on there, but I'm not sure what the difference is between the two. Anyways, they've always been console, PC, etc. They have never been on mobile, and as my concern slowly improves, there's a new Persona 5 mobile spin off coming out. Apparently, it looks great. It's called Persona 5 The Phantom X, and it is a mobile only game. And
Anytime a mobile game is mentioned, two thoughts go through my head. The first is, why on earth are they focusing so hard on mobile? And why
yep,
do they even want it on mobile? And then it is instantly answered by the second thought of, oh, microtransactions, because that's all mobile is involved in.
that's what I thought. Now, I'm not wanting to go into politics too much, but this game is slated to only launch and release in China, which kind of confuses me a bit, considering the creators of this game, Atlas, work and pretty much are under Sega. Yet, this game is fully to release. Actually, let me just check, because this might actually fill me in a bit. Yeah, so Sega's Japanese. Atlas is also Japanese. So yeah, the idea to just release in China is a little bit confusing, to be honest. But yeah, they're releasing exclusively in China, I believe, for now. It's only slated to launch in China. So I'd imagine for now, that's all we're gonna hear about it. From what I hear, it looks good, but it's kind of difficult. Yeah, here it is. Honestly, the Phantom X looks really intriguing, which makes its limited Chinese release all the more painful. This is going to be one tough pill to swallow for Persona fans at large if the game doesn't make its way to the West. For now, we'll have to keep hoping Atlas and Sega see enough overseas demand to release Phantom X elsewhere. But the other big thing, as we discussed, microtransactions is the usual way. But considering China's a fully communist country and they don't go by the capitalist ideology, would they stick microtransactions every step of the way? I
Didn't
don't know.
whenever the whole gambling thing was going on with all the loot crates and stuff you could open up in different games, didn't a lot of it get banned in China?
Yes.
Because it was just straight up considered gambling, and I mean it basically is.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing that kind of makes me give a bit of a chuckle, in China, there is like a ban on kids playing more than 2 hours video games a day.
Hurts.
Yeah, it's a legal ban as well. It just makes me sad, to be honest, that they've got to a point where they're limiting people on how much they can play their games and actually chill out and take time for themselves. That to me hurts on like a physical level. Now, Will, have you ever heard of the masterpieces known as Metal Gear Solid?
So they hit their control scheme, but go on.
I also hate that control scheme, don't you worry.
I think everyone does, but they
Oh.
just grit their teeth and bear through it and enjoy the game.
Well, yeah, because it's Hideo Kojima, and that man can just fucking create masterpieces like it's nothing. It's just what the fucking bloke does.
Except control schemes.
Yes, he's good at he's good at stories and ideas. Control schemes, what the fuck are they? But apparently, it's finally come out and explained that Ground Zeroes, his intentions weren't fully realised. Because apparently, he released Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, and then I think afterwards, the Phantom Pain came out. But he actually announced that his original intention was to have Ground Zeroes as part of the Phantom Pain, acting as a prologue to the wider game. And basically, he wanted to see whether he'd be able to do an episodic release, which I'm very happy he didn't. But at the same time, the fact that the Phantom Pain, as much as I did love it, sadly, it didn't feel finished. Not 100%. And I believe that's due to Kojima. Not Kojima. Yeah, actually. Kojima got kicked out by whatever their name is. The people that I don't like. I always forget their name. Give me a second, I'm reading quickly.
You can do it, Rory. I believe in you.
I can't do it, I need to go to Google. Shit. Metal Gear Solid. Konami. Konami kicked him. That's the ones. I never remember for some reason.
Maybe someday, good sir.
Maybe. My memory's just appalling, though. So we'll see. But yeah, Konami got rid of Kojima, and then they made Metal Gear Survive, which I actually watched a review on a few years ago, and I will never not stop saying this. A guy who was a massive Metal Gear Solid fan genuinely got depressed and actually started to suffer with depression because of that game. I will
Very
find.
sad to hear, sir.
It is. It's horrific. But I will find the video. The guy, honestly, he was so just heartbroken, I think the way is to put it. Because, when you've grown up with something and absolutely beloved it for the actual studio behind it instead of the main guy who created it all and had the ideas to just annihilate everything he'd done in one foul swoop. Because that's all they did. They wanted to earn the last bit of money they knew they could get from selling a Metal Gear named title. And that's all it was. And it was appalling.
Shame to see it go down like that.
100%. Now, I'm sorry, but we are going to have to end it off with some bad and sad news. Over the weekend, a actor known as Lance Reddick passed away, sadly. And this man actually voice acted and just acted in general a lot of iconic roles, such as he was the concierge in John Wick.
Oh no,
Seriously,
bro! John
just
Wick 4 is coming out too.
yeah, but he will have already filmed all his
I
scenes in
know, but
that.
like,
It's just sad.
so sad.
He also voiced I forget his name. Zoala, something like that. Give me a second. Character of Silence. Yeah, he voiced him. The Blue Guardian, who was like the warrior guy. I think that's the best way of putting it. And yeah, it was really disheartening to hear that that happened. Really sad times. He also was in Payday because of that. But he was in quite a bit more, if I remember. I know my partner brought it up on Google, and yeah, it was kind of sad. Just
Say the
trying to
least, my friend.
find it. Sorry, I'm trying to find what things he was in. Yeah. Apparently, though, just a little bit of news to this, because we do cover some entertainment news. Keanu Reeves apparently once visited Lance Reddick as one of his birthday, as his one birthday wish.
Hmm.
That's just insane to hear, isn't it? Here we go. So he voices in a lot of animated things as well. I have to state this. He voices in a hell of a lot of animated series. Ah, that's why I got Silence from. It's Horizon Forbidden West that he voices Silence in. Dear oh dear oh, you know better than this.
Hmm.
Blimey now. Commander Zavala. I was very close with my first guess then. That's who he voiced in Destiny 2. He voiced someone in Quantum Break, which was Martin Hatch. So, as well as being massive in films, in games, he was also in a lot of animated series. Like, he was Sam Wilson's voice for the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes TV series, the animated one.
Seen a heck of a lot more than I knew.
Oh, he actually voiced someone in 50 Cent Blood on the Sand, if you remember that game. He's honestly been in so much, it's insane to think about. And to be honest, he's been in two of the like biggest game series, I'd say. He voice acted for Alan Rails in Rick and Morty.
I was just everywhere.
Yeah, he honestly was. And I have nothing but respect for him. And yeah, it's sad that we've lost someone as talented as he was. Simple as that, really. But yes, it is a sad time in regards to that. Now I've got to try and bring the mood up again, haven't I? Um, by the time this episode comes out, it won't be on, so this is kind of still sad news. But you should have known. The spring sale on Steam has been on since the 16th of March, which, if you haven't been looking as is, what are you doing?
Hmm.
Get your ass on Steam.
Loads of
And
offers there, man.
yeah, and then weep at the fact that you missed it by like a day, 2 days, 3 days. You know,
4
you
days.
missed it. 4 days. Damn it, I was close. I almost got there.
You were almost there, but you can't count that
No,
high.
it's my cap. My kryptonite, the number four. But
He got you again, dude.
it did. Gets me every time. But yeah, it was. It's a great time to go on and just get things on Steam. To be honest, any of the
Absolutely.
sales,
Check your
100.
wish list, man. You never know.
Oh
Some of
yeah,
those games you've been dying to get might be on offer.
yeah, guaranteed. I mean, I've recently got access to two VR games. Both didn't cost me a penny either. So I've got access to Veil's Alpha, which is a shooter FPS VR game. Uh, Two sides fight each other. It's kind of a bit like Counter Strike, but VR and a bit more high tech and modern guns. And then I've got access to Ghosts of Tabor, which I was talking to you about last week, Will.
Yeah.
Uh, it's like Escape from Tarkov mixed with Daisy, mixed with VR. And it sounds interesting, and I look forward to giving that a try. And which is another thing I do love about Steam now, just being able to click on something that's early access and they're wanting people to try it out, and they're gonna
I have
bring,
to
and they can
I have
bring
to
you in.
say the second one that you were talking about that you mentioned last week
Yeah,
still has my interest.
I'm interested myself now that I'm feeling better myself. I am actually thinking about giving it a try at some point this week. So you may hear of me just suddenly jumping on that, which I
Well,
will let you know how that goes.
this week for me might end up a bit boring in terms of gaming. So perhaps we can hook the VRs up and get after the fall play, man. Get that stream done that you want to do.
Oh, 100%. More than happy to do that. And if you want, mate, while we're free, you can just jump onto your Steam and check out that Ghost of Tabor if you want. Because if you get access to it as well, we can jump on it together.
Yeah, I might have a nosy into it.
Sounds like a plan. Because it doesn't cost you a penny to request access. It's the way I look at it. Ah, but no, there's not
Oh,
really been.
all right.
What's up?
I think it's
What?
got instantly given it.
Yeah, exactly. It's that easy.
Yep.
They're trying to get people to test it in early access. So if you
Well,
want to try it out and you have VR, give it a shot because you never know how it's going to be. It could be quite interesting. And I'm very much interested. I think it'll be quite fun. But we'll have to see if we're able to like fully manually reload our weapons or if we're going to cry in a corner at the end of it. So, but we'll see because we had a game recently that we both refunded out of disappointment. We don't
very
talk
sad.
about that. Yeah,
Very sad.
sad moment, but we just hope for better things to come,
Honestly,
realistically.
with where we are now with VR and how much they're doing with it, if you get an FPS VR game and isn't, it doesn't have at least the option for manual reload, what are you doing with your game?
Yeah, you're just kind of missing the first hurdle instantly.
Right? There's nothing more satisfying when I play VR than manually reloading guns.
Oh,
I have
100%.
no way of explaining it. I can't describe why or how. It simply just does.
No, I'd fully agree, mate. To be honest, like if you don't get manual reloading and you don't nail the bloody like look of the game as well, because it's VR. If you're not seeing something stunning, you need to be seeing something that's constantly action packed. Same with the
I'll be
game.
honest, my headset's very old. My PC is not high spec, so things unfortunately don't always look very crisp for me.
Exactly.
They're fine to look at, but they're not stunning, unfortunately, which makes me very sad.
Oh dear. But no, there's a lot to discover and a lot to do, and I look forward to seeing the development of VR as we go along, to be honest with you. I really do.
Absolutely,
But
it truly is a different generation.
it really is. And I just it's crazy to think of all there is, and I just want to see what more can be done and how much further we can take this new development and technology and just run with it. It's really all I can really say about that, but it's something I do hope for very much so in regards to VR.
All
But
we can do is wait and see, my friend.
exactly, my friend, exactly.
It's been a hell of a start, and there's still a lot more to come.
100% there, mate. 100%. In regards, though, to this week, do you have anything else you would like to discuss this week, Will?
Seen anything other than Diablo 4's beta for pre-purchase anyway at the minute,
Yeah.
but that's kind of about it.
I say there wasn't anything really too major, was there? I think I may have had something. Just let me quickly run a check. Ah, here it is. I did find something. Hogwarts Legacy scores fifth number one as it surpasses Elden Ring sales in UK charts.
That was quick.
Yeah, it basically I think it's like 5 6 weeks in a row it has been number one in the UK's charts on games. Apparently, it's also been the number one in the weekly digital data too. In fact, after just 5 weeks, the game has now surpassed the lifetime sales of Elden Ring in the UK, digital and physical.
I suppose that's just the advantage of already having such a huge name,
Especially in the UK.
but it is just in general like
Oh,
just a much loved franchise.
100%.
The Harry Potter
It's
films.
it's absolutely beloved worldwide, but it's just crazy to think about. I mean, when I look at the chart here, it goes last week number one, this week number one, Hogwarts Legacy. Last week number three, this week number two, FIFA 23. How can those two be compared? But
I will forever stand by that FIFA is not a game.
I don't blame you.
The only thing I respect FIFA for is its glitches because they're absolutely hilarious. But that's
Oh,
it.
correct, yeah. But here's something that might baffle you a bit more. In the top 10 games for the last week was Grand Theft Auto 5 that went from number 10 the week before to number 6 last week.
Hmm.
I don't know why, but yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5's relevance seems to stay no matter what.
It still amazes me that people still play it.
Yeah.
How have
Minecraft
it not gotten
Switch
more?
Edition. Hey, I mean, in all fairness, Mario Kart 8 is number 3, so,
I
you
mean,
know.
let's be honest. Wait for the day where you're gonna see people walking around with these like special type of glasses on that allows them to play Minecraft while they're walking.
Hey, that's the day, like, you know. Everyone knows that Minecraft is just one of those games that, even to this day, it fucking sticks its time, doesn't it?
It's something you always go back to.
Oh, 100%.
You can
It's just the way it
always go
goes.
back to it as well.
Always crazy. But other than that, I think that's us for this week, my friend.
It seems to be.
Well, we hope you've all enjoyed, anyways, and we'll be guaranteed to make sure there's more than enough information for next week. Seeing as now I've got, what, 6 days to collect information?
Hmm.
But yeah, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you again next week. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, and whatever else they ask you to do if you enjoyed. Yes, those things. But the most important thing I will point out, if you have anything that you would like to say, feel free to leave a comment so that we can discuss it or just talk about it and
Absolutely.
actually respond. We
We always
love
look
doing
forward
that.
to hearing from the community.
100%, mate.
And what I will say, this may be too late to say it by the time this gets released, but if not, keep an eye out because we may end up just live streaming after the fall and maybe even Ghost of Tomorrow if it's
Reasonable.
reasonable.
But yeah, I think that's the plan. Right. Thank you all a lot for this week, and we'll see you again next week. Bye for now.
See you next week, guys.